Hello, my sisters. This is the Blue Room guided meditation. And I recorded this once before, quite a long time ago, which is why I'm re recording it now. The meditation itself, if you were with me then, is very similar, same concept. But, I like to think that I evolve in my practice with each year that I teach and I learn and I study. And so hopefully I'll bring something new to what is already an established meditation in our community. What do you need to know to enjoy this meditation, to receive the benefit of the meditation? The Blue Room is a space that you can enter. It's not unlike Elder Council in the sense that you are entering sacred space with spirit guides. But the Blue Room is a call to meeting, and it is a meeting that you summon. And I'm going to talk to you just for a minute here about under what conditions you might summon the Blue Room, summon a session, and how you go about doing that and why you would want to do it. What are the kind of main reasons people do that? So the Blue Room is a space where you can call in the spirit guides and higher selves for yourself and for those with whom you are engaged in some sort of challenging situation. And that kind of situation can be anything from just a minor disagreement to divorce to I've had people go into the Blue Room when they are having problems, with probate and estate for relatives. There's almost really no kind of challenge that you can't bring to the Blue Room. The intention of the Blue Room is not that you go there. The intention of the Blue Room is that you ask with permission, with their permission, that the guides and higher selves of everyone involved in the situation, which can include your guides and your higher self, but not you. So just the spirit guides, just the spirit selves of those involved have a conversation. And you basically are opening the container and holding the container and then closing the container when the conversation is complete. And the idea is you don't control anything about it. You don't control the agenda. You don't control the conversation. The conversation might be very brief. But what you're doing is you're creating space for a meta conversation. And what I mean by meta conversation is the conversation above the conversation. When you're in a challenging circumstance with other people, it's very difficult not to have your ego activated. You're human. But your higher self is always aware of the highest calling and the highest outcome of any situation that you're involved in at any time. And so deferring to the judgment of the higher self can be very, very, very helpful. Even just understanding the discernment of the higher self can be very helpful. When you give permission to these spirit selves to meet and to dialogue around a specific situation, and you ask that they find remedy for the highest good of all, I believe that the challenges become a little less tangled. I've seen really incredible things happen with the Blue Room where somebody's really nervous about a meeting or really nervous about a divorce proceeding or really nervous about because, they're just not sure that the best outcome is going to take place. Or, they're so nervous going into a meeting that they're not even bringing the right energy into the meeting. By calling in all the spirit selves, you're really activating a much higher level of consciousness and awareness within the community of souls who are involved in the challenge at hand. And someone has to do that, and that is the role of a priestess. Now, the ethics of this are that you are not manipulating anything, and so you are calling upon the spirit guides and higher selves of those involved to enter the Blue Room. I usually do this before I go to bed at night. They can decline, and when and if they do, I've actually never had anyone tell me that anyone has declined, but when and if they do, you are not to pursue the matter. And so that's just the guidance I've been given, although I've never had anybody say that these spirit guides or higher selves declined. So that's the first thing you have to know. That is the ethics of it. You can't force spirits into this. You can't use it to direct the outcome. Like if you were to go into that room and start saying, so here's what I want to happen and how do we make this happen? That's the exact opposite of what I'm talking about, and that would have some karmic consequences for you. So please don't do that. In fact, what you have to do, and the beauty of this, here's the medicine of this. Are you ready? You're releasing attachment to the outcome. And isn't that, at the end of the day, the whole job, the whole work is to release attachment to the outcome? So if you can really do that, then you will have already received the medicine of the situation. Blue Room helps you let go because it helps you trust that there is still conversation happening. There is still dialogue happening. You won't know what it is, but you're surrendering to the highest good. And that's your job. And at the end of the day, that's all you ever want to do. If you ever think you're in control of anything, that's an illusion. I'm sure you know that, but just to reiterate it for you for today. So, Aho. By the way, this is serving as the August opening for sabbatical this month because this is really the energy of the month for us, is this whole concept of surrendering attachment to outcomes and really trusting the process. That is your guidance, your wisdom, your medicine for August on every level. You're going to enjoy a karmic release meditation with me this month, which is going to tie right in with this broader theme of surrendering your need to know. Because here's the reality, knowing doesn't help. It really doesn't help, especially if what you know and what you attempt to create isn't in deep alignment with the highest good, the highest outcome. So in my life, I really have surrendered the need to know very much. And because I've surrendered that need to know, I'm regularly in awe of the magic of the universe because I'm in flow. So I'm watching things unfold. I'm not trying to create them. And it's funny, we think of people when they say, oh, I'm in flow, we think, oh, well, are they saying, they're better than me or whatever. For me, when I say I'm in flow, it just means I'm surrendering. So I'm literally in flow. I'm just going with what's happening, and I get to observe because I'm not trying to drive. Have you ever noticed how much more beauty you see in the world as a passenger in a car versus the driver? As the driver, you're trying to assert control, and so you can't pay attention to the beauty around you. As a passenger, there's no control, which can be scary, but it's also really beautiful because you get to look around. So try being passenger this month, yeah? Mercury is retrograde. We're in eclipse phase, so I would say, dear sister, you don't really have a choice. Okay, so Blue Room. So here's the protocol, yeah? And we'll do a brief one, a brief protocol. There's really nothing to do in the sense that the guided meditation is really the process of calling in the spirits, okay? Because the meeting itself is off limits to you. That's the really cool thing about the Blue Room. So I want you to close your eyes, roll your shoulders back. Okay, take a couple of deep cleansing breaths, really deeply inhale. And exhale, let it all out with a sound. Feels so good to do that. And I want you to think about a situation in your life right now where the circumstances, the individuals, the energies are challenging for you. One in which you are directly involved. One in which you have a basic sense of the dynamics and the facts. I want you to think about who's involved in that challenging situation with you. And just for a moment this morning, let's just send them some love. Because the reality is, the more challenging the person, the more love is needed. So we're just sending some quick love out to anybody involved in those challenging situations, that their highest good continue to unfold before them. And as it becomes clear in your mind who and what is in this space for you, as that becomes clear for you right now, I want you to take a moment and I want you to imagine sending a beautiful white beam of light all the way around all those individuals, that entire situation, just a beautiful white beam of divine pure love all the way around, divine pure understanding, divine pure grace, divine pure compassion, all the way around the situation. And Great Spirit, God, Goddess, we come before you. This is our circle. This is our web. This is our dynamic. This is our challenge at the moment. And we ask you to hold this container with us and guide the conversation so that it unfold in perfect alignment with the highest good of all involved, both those directly involved and those who will be subject to the consequences. We ask that you hold everyone in this circle in a tender and compassionate embrace as we work through these times which of course will pass, will be transient, will change. And so this will be a moment in time, but one in which we set forth to create a container for a best outcome for all involved. And we give thanks for your presence. We call in the guardians of the East to support the beautiful blue room containers that sisters will open now and later. A breath of fresh air and new life coming from the East into these circles today. And we give thanks for your presence. And we invite the guardians of the Southern Gateway to come forward and to hold Southern space in these blue room containers for courage, for foresight, for justice. And we give thanks for your presence. We call in the guardians and the elementals of the Western Gateway to attend to our blue room containers, to bring us in close touch with our deepest emotions and to help us process what might come of the outcome of the situations in hand. We give thanks for renewal here in the West. We give thanks for clarity. We give thanks for release of the need to know. That's all medicine of the West. So thank you so much for your presence in the circle. And we call upon the guardians of the Northern Gateway to attend to the blue room containers now and future. And in the North, we seek your wisdom. We seek your balance. We seek your stability. We seek your memory. You know, a long memory is good medicine, right? Because it helps us not be so bound up in the BS of the moment. A long memory is good medicine. That's why the grandfathers and the grandmothers are so sacred to us, because they have a long memory. They'll take your problem from today and put it in proper context, and that can be very calming and soothing. So here in the North, we release short-sightedness. We release anxiety and fear because we know we're safe and protected, and we give thanks for your presence. So this circle is open, and so what I would invite you to do is send out the invitation, and the invitation sounds like this. I call upon the guides, spirit guides, ancestor spirits as needed. I call upon the higher selves of those who are involved in this circumstance with me today. I call upon all of you for your wisdom and your high perspective. I call upon you for your clarity of thought and precision. I call upon you for your ability to see what is hidden in dark corners. And I ask that you gather in your time to discuss and to resolve the issue at hand in a way that's in perfect alignment with everyone involved, both in spirit and in the material world. And not just those directly involved, but all of those who are indirectly involved. I ask for an outcome in alignment with the highest good for all. I release my own need to know. I release my own thoughts, my own desires, and my own agendas consciously in this moment in service of the highest good. And I give thanks for the ability to do so, as I know it represents my own evolution. If you are willing to take this meeting, I give thanks. If it is not a meeting that you can hold at this time, I ask that you make that clear to me as well. I release my need to know why the meeting happens or does not happen. I simply sit and hold the container with gratitude, with reverence, with patience, and with love. So before we say Amen, Aho, so it is, the other thing you can ask is to be given some awareness of the outcome. But I highly recommend that you release that too. Okay, I'm not saying what the outcome is, but just an awareness. Some people want to know that there was an outcome. They're not asking to know what it was. They're asking to know if it was. I will tell you in my practice, I don't ask for anything other than what I just gave you in the invocation. So if you're ready to stand with me and let this meeting unfold for the highest good of all, together we say, Amen, Aho, and so it is. And so it is. So it is for the highest good. I believe that this meditation will be such a blessing for you now and in the future. Allow it to really open space for you to release, to let go, to surrender, to trust, to believe, to receive. I do believe that we are, I'm trying to think of the right word. I think they appreciate it when we do this because it lets them do the work they would do anyway. You know what I mean? And so, they give us the moment of feeling like we've called the meeting, which we have, but when we really say with trust, I don't need to know what happens and I don't need to know when it happens. I know that I can believe that it will. That's a beautiful thing. I'm sure you realize that. So may the outcome of this offering be a blessing to you, not just in August, but for the entire rest of our time together and even beyond. I see you. I love you. Namaste. Welcome to Early Harvest, my sisters. I'll see you soon.